Welcome to Book Buzz with Jen and Payne, a podcast focused on romance books. And we're here to talk about those romance books that leave us breathless. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday because we're also going to be giving out book recommendations and reviewing new book releases.
Hi, thank you for tuning in again. I'm Payne.
I'm Jan.
So this past weekend, I actually am caught up with all my arcs. So
Lucky.
Yeah. So it was actually quite a little bit laid back this week, but I did finish reading Private Property by Skye Warren and Relentless by Jade West. These two books are phenomenal. They're both so amazing. Oh my gosh. So Private Property is the first book in the Rochester trilogy. And I don't know if you guys know, but I'm a huge Jane Eyre fan. So I didn't know that this is a retell of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, if you guys didn't know who wrote it. So when I was reading, she said her name was Jane Mendoza. Honestly, I didn't know that it was a retell. So I went in just thinking that she was the nanny and he's a billionaire. And then when he said his name was Mr. Rochester, oh my gosh, girl, I kid you not, I was like, in my mind, like the deja vu, I was like, oh my gosh, I know this name. And then I went back to go look for her name and everything clicked and I was like, oh my goodness, it's Jane Eyre. I was at work, so luckily no one was up there in the office with me. So
I remember you texted me asking me, do you remember reading this book back in high school?
Yes, Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre both are like my top two classics that I love. And this actually will be my first reading of a retell for Jane Eyre. So I was so excited. I legit couldn't put the book down. I think I pretty much read half of the book while I was at work. And I was not even working.
Really?
I was reading instead. I couldn't put it down. His sister-in-law and brother, they died in a shipwreck. He became the guardian for the niece. She's 6 years old. So he needed a nanny. Jane was hired to babysit the niece. And oh my goodness, it's full of secrets, mysterious. Well, I'm pretty sure if you guys read Jane Eyre, then you guys will know that he is, I'm not going to ruin it, but he is very mysterious. A dark, broody, mysterious hero. And in this one, Beau Rochester, he is everything I love. Dark, mean, broody, and hot, sexy. I love him so much. It's the first book, so of course it ends in a cliffhanger.
That's still in my Kindle. I need to read it.
Yes, you have to fast.
When does the second one come out?
The second one comes out May 18th.
May. What's up with these authors writing like cliffhangers and the book not coming out till like May?
Yep, it's in May.
First is Amelia Wilde.
Yep.
Then Corinne.
Mm-hmm.
Now Skye.
Well, another one that I finished and loved, that I was at the edge of my seat throughout the whole trilogy. I can't believe it's the end. I wanted to cry so much. Is Relentless by Jade West. Relentless is the third book in the Star-Crossed Lovers trilogy, and it's the dark retell of Romeo and Juliet. And I kid you not, first half of the book, I got so scared. I was reading for like at least 2 paragraphs, and I was like, oh, nope, I can't. I need to take a breath. And I have to like constantly do that throughout the first half because I was so scared. I remember I texted you that my anxiety was so high while reading the book. It was not going how I expected it to go, but I love it. The second half is a little bit relaxing, but the first half, you are in for a ride.
That one's in my Kindle too.
Yep. Lucien Morelli.
Love him.
He is one of the most perfect anti-hero ever.
Yes.
Everything about him is, oh my goodness. There's no words to describe him besides perfect.
Yes. I loved him. Coming from a person who thought she was going to be ahead of her arcs is back being behind because that releases the same day as Skye's book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hurry. Better hurry.
The first two books were really good, though.
Yes.
I remember when I started those arcs, I didn't put it down until I finished.
Yeah. That's pretty much it from me.
So I read this arc a couple of weeks ago, if not like a month ago. Wicked Prince by Claire Contreras. It is amazing. I'm a huge Claire Contreras fan, you can say. Like, I love her books. Her books are always a must-read for me. And it's funny because somebody asked me, when I posted something about her books, they messaged me. They're like, are her books good? And I was like, Claire to me is a drop your current read and pick up her new release. I just love her writing style. I love it. But The Wicked Prince, and I know we spoke about it a little bit in the previous podcast, can be read as a standalone. It's part of the Naughty Royal series. So book one is The Sinful King. That is based on Elias and Adeline. And then The Naughty Princess was part of the 101 Dark Nights. It's about the sister, Pilar. I'm saying it like in Spanish. And then now the third one is about the third brother. So if you read The Sinful King, I think he comes out a little bit more in The Sinful King than he does in The Naughty Princess. But he's this bad boy, always partying, doing whatever the heck he wants to do. His mother's trying to like control him to get him ready for what's expected of him within the royal family. And he's I don't care, I'm gonna do what I want, I'm gonna party 24/7, this is me, my life. So that's how we know him, through The Sinful King and The Naughty Princess. We get to his book. His book is a single parent, I would say friends to lovers, because I mean they're a little bit friends, you can say. She's the one who is in charge of keeping him on track. Because he's that guy who is partying all the time and they want to keep him in line. He's viewed as somebody who needs to take charge of his duties within the royal family. It's really good. Like, he's not what you expect him to be. Like I said, it's a single parent. So within the story, you see a little bit of a twist that you didn't see coming. You're like, what? I loved it. I love her this whole royal series that she did. I loved it. The Sinful King will always be my favorite, though. I've lost track of how many times I read that book.
Seriously?
Yes. Like, I love it. And I think that's why I also like The Wicked Prince a lot, because they come out a lot in his book. More than I expected. More than they came out in The Naughty Princess, that's for sure. But they come out and it's like, it makes you miss Elias and Adeline so much. And I'm still begging Claire for more. I mean, if you love royal romance books, this is definitely it. It's a must read. It comes out on March the 16th. Make sure you add that to your TBR. And I finished also reading. So Alexandra sent me more Smoke. I know we spoke about her series in the last episode, but let me tell you, it is freaking fire. Like, this book is gonna be amazing. And I know the type of heroes you like, to where they're so bad that you hate them, but at the same time you love them. And then you get this heroine who is not weak like they think she is, and she has this backbone in her. This is how Georgina is in this book. Like I said, if you read her previous series, they make appearances. So Freddie is the worst. Like, he always puts her second to anything that he does. She never comes first. He is so mean to her. He doesn't say mean things to her. It's more of the way he makes her feel. That's why I love Alexandra's writing style, because you're reading it and it's like he's doing it to you and you're like, my heart's breaking, and it's really good. So I'm so excited for that release. So make sure you add it to your TBR, because let me tell you, Smoke is going to be phenomenal. Her books are a must read for sure. I was supposed to be catching up on my arcs, like you said, and I just, not this week. I finally finished The Devil Wears Black by L.J. Shen. I know I spoke about that I was 15% in on the last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I finished it. I know I said I was going to stay up that night. No,
Yeah.
I went to bed. I finished it, though. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really funny.
Yeah.
That one comes out this upcoming week, the 9th.
Yep.
So make sure you pick that up. It's very, when I think of 𝐿𝐤𝐸, I always think angsty, suspenseful books.
Yeah.
Like books that are going to make you so mad, but get so in love with her. Even though you get so mad while reading her books, you end up loving the book.
Mm-hmm.
So this was something new.
Yeah.
That for me, reading from 𝐿𝐤𝐸, because, you know, it was rom-com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't deep rom-com,
Mm-hmm.
but it did make you laugh more than her previous books.
Yeah.
So I was laughing, and then I was like, I hate him, but I love him at the same time. I finished it, and I was like, this is so different than what she's usually writing. Because if you compare it to The Villain,
Totally
and
different.
then The Devil Wears Black, it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's looking for a more lighthearted, funny read, you'll like this one. Because she still adds that edge to where he's an a-hole. But he's funny. No matter what he does, he ends up winning your heart.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I loved it. But now that I read that one and it's about to release, I'm so freaking excited for the monster. Oh my gosh. I need it. Like, I am dying.
Yeah.
I feel like it's taking forever. That's why I kept saying, please let it be March already so that this book can release. Because I need the monster. Like, after the 9th, like, I am going to be so freaking excited that we're finally we're closer to the monster than we were before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I think we're all freaking dying for that one. I know I am.
Yeah. Me too.
Like, I don't think she's confirmed it, that it's going to be.
I think it's him.
Because, oh my gosh, I am dying to read his story.
Yeah.
Ever since he, like, made an appearance in The Hunter, I was like, I really hope he gets his own book. I really hope. And, girl, like, I need it. Like, I'm so freaking ready. I'm so excited. And I feel like we've been waiting ages for this one.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
And then she showed that sneak peek of the cover.
Yes.
I was like, the torturing us. So I'm so freaking excited. So that's the reason I was so ready for The Devil Wears Black to release.
Yep.
Because I was like, that just means we're closer to the monster.
Yeah. Even though Chase and Maddie were awesome.
Yeah.
I want the monster now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like the way The Hunter was written, it was really cute. It was, you know, that enemies to lovers, roommate romance. And then you got the villain, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like Killian is the worst. And then so it's like you don't know what to expect about the next one, which I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, is Sam. Because if it is Sam,
he's the worst.
He's the worst of them all. So it's going to be so interesting seeing him with their little sister, which I assume that's who he would end up with. So I am dying. Like, I need it. I'm dying for it. Yeah. So that's one of my most anticipated books of 2021. So we ended up doing a Ask Me question on Instagram. I picked my favorite ones. One of them I've been wanting to talk about. So I'm going to start with the ones we picked. Okay. The first one is, what's your favorite book? You know, when I saw that one, I had to think about it. I was like, well.
That is a very tough question. It's impossible to pick a favorite book.
But if you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
I can't. I really can't. I have too many. Can I say at least 10? top 10.
10? Okay, do top 10.
Okay. Well, do you have yours ready? Do you have your list ready?
I would say, because it is hard. It is hard picking just one.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's impossible. I would say Something So Irresistible by Natasha Madison. The Sinful King by Claire Contreras. Tramp by Mary Elizabeth. Love that one. If you haven't read it, I loved it. I really loved The Bluff by Willa Nash. And I'm putting this one. Okay, that's the fourth one. I'm counting Daphne Perry's as the fourth one too. And I'm gonna say River Night.
Okay.
Love that one too.
How is that one both number 4? It's different.
Because it's the same author. It's the same author. No. So I'm counting it as one.
No, that's top 11 if you do.
And then Come Back For Me by Corinne.
Yeah.
I love Firefly by Molly McAdams. Scorch by Alexandra Silva. Love it. And Wrecked Palace by Catherine. Oh, that became one of my favorites. Loved it. I need more of them to,
Yeah.
And I really, really love, I'm going to say Fueled. I always, from that series, Fueled has always been my favorite from the whole series.
I have to write it down or else I will forget. 50 Shades of Grey. And then This Man. And then Pretty Reckless. The Villain by 𝐒𝐤𝐿. That's 4. And then Dotted Lines by Daphne Perry. My heart still hurts. And then Come Back For Me by Corinne Michaels. I seriously think that one will stay with me forever. I just love that one so much. And then The Takeover by T.L. Swan. Girl, you have to read that one.
I'll add it to my TBR.
Wanting Mr. Kane by Shonora Williams. The Risk by Elle Kennedy. Don't think I've said it here on the podcast yet, but I'm pretty sure I posted on Instagram saying that Briar U series by Elle Kennedy is what got me into watching hockey. Now I'm a Boston Bruins fan because of that series alone. Oh my gosh, girl, I watch hockey like crazy now because of that series. So The Risk have to be there. And I feel like not a lot of people read this duet. I don't know, but The Right Side of Forever by Megan Quinn. I don't really hear a lot of people talk about it. And I seriously think people need to pick it up because it's so good.
But that duet by Megan Quinn was, oh my God, it was phenomenal. It was literally, I hated Colby though.
It does somewhat sound like it's a love triangle.
It is a love triangle.
Yeah. So
but it's a friends to lovers love triangle.
An unrequited love too. My heart hurts.
Now I want to reread it, but at the same time, I'm telling you, it hurts too much to reread it.
Yeah. I'll probably read the second book, 50.
The end?
Yeah. I would read those, but at the beginning, it was oh, no, heck no. There you go. Thinking about it, I still cry about it, so.
Totally recommend that book, though.
Yeah.
I will say, when you read it, you need to read a rom-com right after.
Heck yeah.
Read it and then pick up The Devil Wears Black.
Yes.
Okay, and another question was, who is your favorite author? Dun, dun, dun. I can't just pick one. So let's do top 5.
Top 5, okay.
Even though I want to do more, but let's just stick with our top 5 because I just can't say one.
Yeah. I go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear your list.
Okay, well, it's not in any order because these are the books I have most of them on my shelf. 𝐒𝐤𝐿, Daphne Perry, Shonora Williams, and Corinne Michaels. And then the 5th one, I'll have to give it to Megan Quinn.
My top 5, it has to be Claire Contreras, Natasha Madison, Daphne Perry / Willa Nash. That counts as one because it's the same author.
Okay. Same person.
That's 3, right? Corinne Michaels and Alexandra Silva. These top 5 authors are the ones that I go back and reread. But see, I want to start naming all the authors that I love.
Yeah.
Like I have L.J. Shen, I have Monica Murphy, I have Catherine Cowles. It's like I have like a lot of authors that I just love. Picking 5 is still hard.
Yeah.
Because I want to name all the ones that I love.
Yeah.
We need to do a podcast and just talking about literally all of our favorite authors because I have a lot. Okay, so another question was, do you read reviews before you pick up a book?
I used to. And then I stopped. There are some reviews that I get, it's not criticism anymore. It's more of just a rant. Like, okay, I get that sometimes books annoys you, frustrated you, but it's not really a review anymore. It's more of them just how much they hate a book or how much they dislike this. And I seriously don't think you really need to rant it out. For me, if I don't like a book, I honestly don't really leave a review. I would just put the star and just leave it. Like, why would I waste my time writing a review on a book that I don't like? Like, my time is precious. So there are times when
Sorry, that was funny.
So there are times when I read some reviews and I was like, oh, this is not good. But I pick it up and I ended up loving the book. I was like, oh.
Yes.
So there's really no point of me reading reviews because it happened quite a few times. I can just pick up a book and if I don't like it, okay. But don't judge a book by other people's review. Because if you might end up loving it and they don't. Everyone has their own different opinions. So, yeah.
And, for me, it's similar to that. I used to go to the reviews in Goodreads a lot. And I remember, and I won't say the book, but I remember I saw the cover because I was on Goodreads looking for similar tropes to what I wanted to read. And I found this book, loved the cover, loved the blurb. It sounded, now I want to reread it too. The blurb sounded amazing. And I started reading the reviews and some reviews were harsh.
Yeah.
And I think right now, some reviews, like you said, they're criticizing what I've seen. They're criticizing the author, not the story.
Yeah.
And it takes away, like you're there to review, the book that you read, not the author. And then I've noticed a lot how they go and talk about everything that they hated instead of saying certain parts that they enjoyed. And again, it's like you said, what they don't like, I might love. When I read the reviews on that book, they technically gave away the whole story.
Yeah.
And I don't mind spoilers, to be honest. Like, it makes me want to read the book more. They were criticizing certain things that I was like, it was very weird because they weren't criticizing the story, or they were criticizing the way the author wrote it. It was weird. So I ended up not picking it up. And then I kept looking for books, and I was like, you know what? Because I couldn't find anything. I was like, I'm gonna read the book. I picked it up. Girl, I loved it. I freaking loved it. And it's like one of my favorite books, just because I mean, that was the last time I went and I read a review. I write my reviews, and if I don't like a certain thing in it, I do say, there was a certain scene that, I wish would have gone a different route, but it didn't. But then I continue with my review.
Yeah.
My thoughts on the book. And like, I think now I see a lot of reviews focused not even on the book.
Yeah.
If I like the cover, if I like the blurb, I'm going to read it. Yeah. If I end up not liking the book, I'll still leave a review. For books that I don't like, I do put, this wasn't my cup of tea, but it might be somebody else's cup of tea. Because it's like, not what I like, somebody else is going to like. Or not what they like, I'm not going to like.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like a lot of people love what is it, reverse harem?
Yeah.
I don't read those, and it's like fine. Everybody has a different taste in books and stories. I do read after I read it, of course. I might read some. I leave reviews. I don't let the reviews dictate if I'm reading a book or not.
Yeah.
That's not to say, don't leave a review, because I think that you should leave a review. But I do think that, when leaving a review, focus on the story, not anything else but the story. I feel like a lot of people do depend on reviews a lot.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I do think that even if a review says it's not that good, it doesn't hurt to try it, because you might end up loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened to me. I loved it. And it's so funny because the books that I had skipped before that one that I read reviews about, I went back and I read them and I liked them. So it's like, give a book a chance. You might not know if you end up loving it.
Yeah.
Another one that we got was, well, I'll revert it. What do you enjoy most about reading?
You can answer first.
It's a good distraction. For me, the way I view it, it's a good escape from the busy, hectic daily life that you have. I mean, there's times where I'm working 12-hour shift and my head hurts. I come home, take a shower, and pick up a book, and I get so into it that it transports you to a whole different mind world set, you can say.
Yeah.
It makes you stop thinking of any negative thing that might be going on in your life for a while. When, without going into details, January and beginning of February were hard months for me. I read a lot. It distracted me a lot. And it helped me. For me, reading helps me a lot. And even when I'm going through something, like when I'm stressed or my head is hurting, it's funny because there's some books that, Lee's book, The Devil Wears Black, I remember I told you this whole week I had like headaches. But I would read it and I would laugh and it would take off my mind about, the hectic work life that we might have, because it relaxes me a lot. I enjoy, being transported into a different world than the one we're in. I mean, every story is different. You get so many different emotions. You like, you cry, you laugh, you fall head over heels in love with the hero, even though he's
fiction.
Yes. I mean, they're not real, but it's a good little distraction.
Yeah.
But now my expectations on a guy are so high thanks to these books.
Yes.
I read a lot. I'll have my Kindle open in my phone, or I'll have a book with me, but I'm always reading.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I enjoy most about it.
So, if people don't know, we pretty much agree on a lot of things. And my story is quite pretty much exactly the same like yours. Because I picked up reading when I was quite in a darker situation in my life. Once I started picking up reading, you can say I totally changed from back then to now. When you read, you go into your own world, your own fantasy. And so instead of thinking about what's all the craziness going on in your life, when you read, it gets pretty sad too, but because it's fiction, so it doesn't affect you to make you sad. Like, even though I do cry reading some books, but like, I know it's not going to affect me because it's just a book. So I enjoy going to my own world. And like you say, my expectations on guys are so high, so high that I seriously told my mom, and Mom, I don't think I'll be able to get married because I don't think anyone can match these heroes.
But it's like you said, it's reading also, and it's so funny because reading made me be able to, like, I learned how to tune out people. I learned it, and my sister hates it, and she's always screaming at me like, I'm talking to you, stop ignoring me. And it's like, literally when I'm reading, I tune out everything around me. And it's weird because I don't, like, I'm so into the book.
Yeah.
And my sister's like, how do you do it? It's like, I'm like, I tune out everything. I tune out everything. That started when I started reading. I managed to learn how to tune out people. It's like, I'm so into the book, and you'll be talking to me, and I'm just, it's like if you're not even sitting there.
Yeah.
And my sister hates it. She's always like, I'm never talking to you again. You never pay attention. You're always on your phone. I'm like, I'm not in my phone. I'm reading.
Yeah. I wish I could do that.
What do you like most about books to Grammy?
just the creativity of it. If I see other people edits and their pictures, it actually motivates me. I actually do get happy seeing them, seeing new things. I'm like, oh, wow, this is really cool. I guess because you know how in this, we're all from different regions in the world. And so you seeing all these people from around the world coming together just because of books. I think that's seriously one of my favorite things I love. I've met some really good friends through bookstagramming. And just getting to know the authors, you see that they are humans like you too. I feel like authors are these very high people, but once you get to know the authors more, you're like, oh, they're just human like you, and they're not any different. So I think that's one of the things that I love about this community so much, is because everyone comes together for the love of books.
Yeah, and it's true. I'll have to say the same as you, but I also think I love it just because of people's creativity that I found books due to the stuff they do. I haven't been editing as much as I want to, but I think we all go through that phase where you are in a editing slump.
Yeah.
Where it's like you don't know, like you know what you want to edit, but you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I've been stuck in that for couple of weeks already, but I have in my mind what I want to do, but it's like when I do it, I get so into it. You meet people in this community and it's like you interact with each other over the same books that you love, which is, in my opinion, it's really, really, it's amazing. And you get to know these authors who write these stories that are just so freaking good, and you get to know them and you realize that, like you said, they're regular people who are so creative because they come out with these stories that I couldn't do that. I could not sit in a computer and write a book.
Yeah.
Because I'm reading and I'm just like, man, they got these details on point, any little thing, and it's like I couldn't do that. And it's funny because when you're editing, you add these little details that you read about in your edits. That's what I like about it. It's you get so into the story. You meet people, you meet new authors. I've made good friends too in this book community. Everybody is so nice. I consider the book world a family. They're for the same thing. Everybody, is there because they love books. The friends I've made within this community, they're so supportive. They end up becoming like your friends. I mean, I've made amazing friends who've helped me a lot. I mean, I met you through Driven. Again, thank you, Christy. And it's like you've become one of my closest friends.
What is a book that made you cry?
I have a lot.
At the top of my head, every book in the Runaway series by Devney Perry. One of the books I cried so hard and I will always remember, that breaks my heart, that makes me not want to read her other books, is Something in the Way series by Jessica Hawkins. First book, I didn't cry. But the second, the third, and the fourth, you need 2 boxes of tissues for that series. Like, seriously.
Yep.
And one of the books that I have to say, the first book that I picked up and I cried so hard was A Place Without You by 𝐁𝐨𝐤𝐬. You need to read that one. I cried so hard for that one also. I would totally mention this one because I got really sad. Broken Night by 𝐒𝐤𝐿.
Oh, don't remind me. Don't remind me. That book is forbidden to talk about. It literally makes me cry just thinking about it.
That one. You know when you cry so hard that you can't talk anymore? That was me while reading Broken Night. And up to this day, I can never reread it. Oh my gosh. Chase the Butterflies by Monica James. And Until the Last Breath by Shanora Williams.
I will never read that one. And I love the cover, whatever, but the blurb, it already hurts my heart and I haven't read it yet.
That one, hurts to the core. Like, I kid you not, I cried literally nonstop for that one too. So those are some of the books.
When I saw that cover, it was it is still in my TBR. And I'm like, I'm going to read it. I'm so excited. Like, it looks so beautiful. And then you told me kind of what it was about. And I'm like, okay, So I'm not going to read it after all. And if I do read it, it's going to be right before and after I pick up a rom-com.
Yep.
So for me, oh my gosh, and I'm going to say this, it's a duet, but this duet made me cry from the very first page. And I legit cried through the whole book. And it was that crying where you can't even catch your breath. It was the First and Forever duet by J. McLean. Well, the first one is First and Forever, and the second one is Heartache and Hope, which is a heartache duet. Oh my goodness. It is, I can't even describe what it made me feel. Because it was, I legit couldn't breathe because of how bad I was crying. And I have to say that one, Fire by Molly McAdams, made me cry a lot too. Girl, it hurts my heart just thinking about those books. Like, they were so, don't get me wrong, they're really good books. I loved them. I recommend them 100%. But see, I have recommended that Heartache and Hope duet to some a girl in books on Instagram. She didn't cry. So again, what makes me cry doesn't make somebody else cry. But I legit cried like never before reading that duet. Like I couldn't catch my breath. I had to take a break because I could not stop crying. It's a young adult duet. And it's about a girl who's been through so much. And I think that's why it hurt so much, because I could relate a lot to it. Not what she went through, but certain stuff in there. And it's like, it hurts so much because you're like, I just want to get in there and protect this girl who hasn't had an easy life, who, oh my gosh, just thinking about it, my eyes are watery because it is, I loved it. I recommend it 1,000 times because it is so good. It's so good. But I remember I read it at night because I got the arc for the second one like around 9 p.m. girl. I didn't go to sleep, but I literally had to stop in the middle of it because I couldn't stop crying. My sister was like, because my sister ended up staying in my room that day because we were watching a movie, I think. She goes, "What's wrong? Why are you crying? Did something happen? Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm just reading a book right now." She goes, "Are you serious crying like that for a book? I thought something had happened." I was like, "It's a sad book, okay?" I think to me it was also an eye-opener because it tells you how you need to treat people. Like, you don't know what somebody is going through at home. And I think that's another reason why I like these books, because they talk about real things. Even though it's fiction, you do realize that some people go through these situations. With this duet is, you need to treat people kinder. Like, because you don't know they can go to school and laugh and whatever, and you go home and their life is completely different than what you think. And I think that's why I love this book so much, because it teaches you, without saying it, but it tells you and it makes you feel that it's like, you need to be kinder to people. You know, a simple, "How are you doing today?" can go a long way. The book that also made me cry was The Bluff by Will Nash. You read it. You know, there's a certain scene that legit had me bawling. I was like, he did not just do that. Like, are you kidding me? But that one, I consider that book one of my all-time favorites of hers. And it's just because it's so good. Again, and maybe that's why the books with the heroines that have been through so much are the ones that make me cry, and are the ones that I love, because they start off with these women who are so lost, and they end up being these women who are so strong, and so, you know, they work hard to look for their happily ever after. And that was what I got from The Bluff, to where it's like, she starts off as this scared, she doesn't want to take any risk heroine, to somebody who learned from what she went through, and she became this strong heroine who would do anything to make sure she's happy again.
Yeah.
Loved it. And I cried a lot. The Tainted Hearts by Lila James. Like that second book, because this is a trilogy. That second book does something to me that when I reread the series, I skip half of the second book and a little bit of the beginning of the third because I cannot reread that. It makes me cry so much. And it doesn't matter how many times I read it. I cry like if it was the first time I was reading the book. That's a really good trilogy too. If you like suspense, dark romance, that's a book that it's a must read.
Okay, what is a book you always recommend? People come to you and they give you a certain trope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just give them
The
book
first
that you
book,
love.
yeah.
So I don't really have one either. But if they do come to me and ask for A Small Town, then I automatically say Come Back for Me by Corinne Michaels. Because some people come to me asking for age gap. I immediately recommend the Kane series by Shannora Williams.
I think for me, when they ask me for a sport, the first one I recommend is Something So Irresistible by Natasha. And if they want a small town, but see, it's like you said, it depends on the trope. If they want a small town, I would recommend Daphne Perry's. Now it would be the Bluff, which is through Will and Ash. My mind goes to Daphne. It goes to Tragic. If they want a suspense, mysterious, I go with Half Truth by Claire Contreras. Or recently, I've been recommending. Well, for the past couple of months, I've been recommending Tramp by Mary Elizabeth. It keeps you on the edge. You're like, what the heck is what's happening? What's gonna happen? It's really good. 10 Gypsies by Daphne Perry. When they say suspense, my mind goes to those books too. So I think it depends on the trope.
Yeah.
But I know for sure if they ask me for sports, my mind goes, it's Natasha. Small Town is between Daphne and Corinne.
Yeah.
Even Amber Kelly and Kelly Elliott, I recommend their books a lot too. I mean, if you guys ever want to read anything, just let us know. Thank you so much for tuning in again to another one of our podcasts. I do want to remind you guys that we still have our science paperback giveaway going on. We are going to put the form down below. All you have to do, again, is make sure you're following us on Instagram, subscribe to our channel, and following Alexandra as well on Instagram. And you just fill out the form and you're entered on the giveaway. We're also next week, we're finally going to talk about Bridgerton. Our plan is to finish the book during the week so we can finally talk about it when we film our next podcast. So tune in next week where we talk about the book, the differences between the book and the show, what we hope to see in season 2, how we felt about the book. So tune in next week to hear us just enjoy some Bridgerton fun. If you do have any questions, just comment below or send us a message on Instagram and we'll reply back to you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.